Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, FPL Consult here, and today we're going to take a look at my Gameweek 17 transfer plans. And yes, you read the title of the video correctly. I've already made one transfer. It's very rare that I make an early move, but I've already made one transfer. So you can see at the left hand side of the screen, I have 0 free transfers remaining, and I could very well take a -4 in Gameweek 17 as well. We'll discuss that in this video. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and if you do, please give it a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here. Once again, shouting out the Christmas charity drive before we move on with the video. If you've been watching my content all this while, or if you're new to the channel, all you have to do is subscribe before Christmas and I will be donating money to charity. We are so close to raising almost £100 for UNICEF already. More information on the Christmas charity drive is in the description down below. Do subscribe and do contribute to this cause as well. Alright, so jumping straight into the video, let's talk about my transfer that I've already made and the reasons why I've done it. So basically, what I did was after the games on Saturday night, I made the move to bring Solanke in for Cameron Archer. So basically, I was confident enough to make that move at that point and beat the price rise for Solanke for a couple of reasons. So my 7th and 8th attacker were Adingra and Archer. At that point in time, Adingra had not played. Of course, he did really well in Game Week 16 and he got 10 points. But at that point in time, he had not played. And also moving forward, looking at the future game weeks, I would not be very comfortable playing either Adingra or Archer as my 7th attacker, assuming I start 7 and I bench one of them. So the thing is, I already knew that I wanted to bring in an attacker. It's whether I sold Adingra or Archer. And at that point in time, I also did not really want to go for Gordon, looking at the fixture crunch for Newcastle. So I thought to myself, alright, I'm pretty certain that I want Dominic Solanke. I think he will rise in price. I checked the price predictions on Fantasy Football Hub. He was very likely to rise in price, and he did. So I moved early for Dominic Solanke. And the reason why I'm alright to do that, because on usual occasions I wouldn't, right? But the reason why I was alright to do that is because firstly, Burnley has no European games, so they're not playing in the Champions League whatsoever. Dominic Solanke will have a full week of rest before playing in Game Week 17. The fixtures are really good for the next 3. Of course, in blank Game Week 18, he also has Nottingham Forest. And now it seems like everyone is going to move for Dominic Solanke. But at that point in time when I made the transfer, I felt like not going for Gordon and going for Dominic Solanke would be more of a differential, and that's why I wanted to do that. I didn't want to go for the template picks as well, and I'm not too confident of Gordon moving forward as well. So it's easy to say that now, but at that point in time, I had to make this decision, and I went for Solanke. Right, so after making that transfer, this is how the team looks like. I have Dubravka in goal. So I did not do a deadline stream in Game Week 16, but basically I moved for Dubravka and sold Turner, who got 3 points in Game Week 16, but I never knew he was going to play. I brought Dubravka in for a hit last week, and the reasons were basically he was cheap. I don't think I would be going for another keeper that's more expensive. Thankfully, I didn't go for Sanchez because Sanchez got injured in the Game Week 16 game for Chelsea. And then for Raya, he's slightly too expensive. So I settled on Dubravka. And if it turns out that Newcastle do get another keeper in the January transfer window, then I will have to deal with that. But I was alright to take a hit for Dubravka, and he did get 2 points, so the hit turned out to be a -2 hit instead. So I will be playing Dubravka for the foreseeable future. And Areola, we still don't have any conclusive information on whether he'll be back for Game Week 17 or not. So Dubravka in goal against Fulham. Fulham are doing really well, so actually doubling up on Newcastle defense here with Dubravka and Livramento may not be the best thing, but Newcastle are at home, and at home they are much better as compared to their away performances. They just lost away to Spurs 4-1. But at home, I am hoping that Dubravka and Livramento do keep a clean sheet against a Fulham side that have scored 10 goals in the past 2 games. Now, for Livramento, I'm confident he will start because Kieran Trippier is suspended. He got a yellow card in Game Week 16, so that puts him on 5 and he will be suspended for Game Week 17. So Livramento, for the time being, looks pretty safe. And actually moving forward, I think he's on an alright hold for a couple of reasons. I think he's first choice left back ahead of Lewis Hall. So until Dan Burn comes back, I think I'm pretty alright to have Livramento. Pedro Porro, he's a great asset to have. I moved for him in Game Week 16 as well, and he did really, really well. He was unlucky not to get a clean sheet. And against Nottingham Forest, I do think like Spurs will be able to keep a clean sheet. I mean, I do think like Pedro Porro is an asset that does not rely solely on clean sheets. So his attacking returns have been very consistent. I'm pretty happy that I have him in the team. And then for Tsimikas as well, forming my back three, he plays Manchester United at home. Now, Manchester United have been so poor, just lost to Bournemouth 3-0. So I really think that Tsimikas, who is, I feel, playing much better than Joe Gomez in left back, right? I do feel like Liverpool could run riot there at Anfield against Manchester United. So my other two defenders are on the bench, and they kind of place themselves there. Taylor is suspended and Guehi is playing Man City away. So for the time being, I don't have any immediate plans to make any changes to the defenders on the bench. For now, I think having already made my one free transfer, if I do take a hit, it would be to remove Haaland, which we'll talk about later on. So in midfield, I have Palmer, Salah, Son, and Saka. I'm obviously going to keep all of them. I think there's a good chance, right, given that there's so many home fixtures for these players, that the midfield does really well. And I'm glad that I held on to Son. So just touching on him a little bit, scored 17 points, did really well in Game Week 16. And there was a point in time, I think in Game Week 14, where I was almost going to sell Son. So I think looking back at it, I did not sell Son for a couple of reasons, because Ollie Watkins was a doubt, and Jarrod Bowen was also a doubt. So what I did was to remove both of them, and therefore I kept Son. But I was quite keen on selling Son at that point in time, so I guess I have to count my lucky stars that Ollie Watkins and Bowen were doubts at that point in time, leading me to keep Son. Right, so I'm obviously going to keep him for now. I guess I got away with that one, basically, right? So Son is in my team. I don't think he'll be leaving anytime soon. Maybe when the Asian Cup comes around, I could look to offload him. But same goes for Salah, where AFCON would be around the corner as well. So up front is Darwin Núñez, Solanke, and Haaland. So Solanke, as I mentioned, I already moved for him. I sold Archer and moved for Solanke, so he will come straight into the starting 11. Adinger, who plays Arsenal, will be on the bench as the 8th attacker. So touching on Haaland a little bit first, he is currently yellow flagged. He's at 50% chance to play. And given that I've already made my free transfer, if I remove him, it will be for a -4. If I am able to keep him, I can just play Adinger against Arsenal. Not great, but it saves me a hit. So my thinking with Haaland right now is basically, it really depends on how long he'll be out for, and I honestly doubt we will get conclusive news from Pep or a conclusive update as to whether he'll be fit for Crystal Palace. So what he has is a bone stress fracture, and basically it does not seem too serious. It's not as if it's a complete fracture whatsoever. I'm no expert in these injuries, but what I would say is that there is a slight chance he will be back for Crystal Palace, but it is looking unlikely. So in that sense, because I don't think we'll get a conclusive update as well, I'm probably 70% likely to sell Haaland and take the hit to remove him and bring Ollie Watkins in. So Ollie Watkins was always in the plans for Game Week 18, right? But if I shift it forward now to Game Week 17, I take a hit and bring Watkins in, I can then address these issues, address the other issues in my team, basically moving forward. So I take the hit now for Ollie Watkins, which I think will definitely pay off, because Ollie Watkins versus Haaland over the next 3 to 4 game weeks, I definitely think Ollie Watkins would outscore Haaland, because obviously Haaland's blanking in 18, and he has Everton away in 19, and also he's probably going to miss Game Week 17. So in that sense, solely because he's missing out, I would say that there's a good chance Ollie Watkins would outscore Haaland during this period. So I think the hit will be worth it. And in terms of how I intend to use that money, I doubt I would be spending or spreading the cash elsewhere, because firstly, I don't think there are a lot of good options that we can go for aside from the pretty much template picks that we have here. In the midfield, I mean, who else would I go for? I have Salah, Son, and Saka already. Defenders, the premium ones aren't really worth it. And then I already have players like Solanke as well. Palmer, I think, is fine to keep. So I see no real place I should be spending that money. So if I do remove Haaland, I will be keeping that money in the bank, and I'll likely only bring Haaland back sometime in Game Week 19 or 20. But it really depends on what Pep says and if he does give us a conclusive update or not. So currently, this is what I'm thinking with my team. Let's take a look at my team moving forward using the transfer tinkering tool. So this is my team on the Fantasy Football Hub Transfer Planner. It's exactly as shown in the graphic just now. If I do make that move to take Haaland out for a -4 and bring Ollie Watkins in, then this is how my team would look like for Gameweek 17. And captaincy right now is largely split between Salah and Son. For now, I have it on Salah because it's at Anfield against Manchester United. But Son right now, I would say, is much more of a captaincy shot than he previously was because now it's confirmed that he is on penalty. So for captaincy, I think I'll leave it closer to the deadline to decide. But up front, the front three would look something like this without Haaland. So Darwin Núñez, Ollie Watkins, and Solanke for Game Week 17. And looking forward into Game Week 18 as well, if you can see, every single player here, because I've removed Haaland, has a fixture in Game Week 18. I have no Brentford players, nor do I have any Man City players. So essentially, I don't have any issue whatsoever for Game Week 18. There's no question of a free hit for me because I don't really need it in Game Week 18. So Game Week 18 would largely revolve around me getting back enough funds to bring Haaland back because even though I've just sold him for Ollie Watkins, I do want to keep Watkins for the foreseeable future, and the player that I'll be willing to sacrifice to bring Haaland back in is Darwin Núñez, who is much cheaper than Ollie Watkins. Darwin Núñez is currently at 7.6 million. Ollie Watkins is at 8.4 million. So for the purpose of seeing how far off I am from getting Erling Haaland back in, I'm pretty much 0.3 million short. So Haaland is at 14 million and I only have 13.7 million if I sell Darwin Núñez. So the Game Week 18 transfers would largely revolve around getting that extra 0.3 million so that moving forward, either in Game Week 19 or 20, I can bring Haaland back in. So for now, the plan is actually to sell either one of Tsimikas or Mark Guéhi to a very, very cheap defender so that I can get that 0.3 million extra that I'm looking for. So for now, I would say I'm more likely to sell Mark Guéhi, even though he's much cheaper than Tsimikas, because Tsimikas right now is at 4.9, Guéhi is at 4.6, so it wouldn't leave me with that much options. But I do feel like Guéhi's fixtures moving forward just aren't as good as Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool's fixtures defensively are not ideal, but Crystal Palace's are just absolutely horrible. It's Man City, Brighton, Chelsea, Brentford, Arsenal, Sheffield in 22, but then it's Brighton again in Game Week 23. So basically, I'm more likely to sell Mark Guéhi, and the options are pretty sparse. So I will only have 4.3 million. And I think at this point in time, it's looking like Harry Maguire is the one that I'll be going for at 4.3 million. This could be a bit of a meme, but the fixtures are there for Manchester United. After Liverpool, it's alright. It's West Ham, Aston Villa, Forest, Spurs, Wolves, West Ham. So actually, it's not too bad considering the number of game weeks that I need him. If there are game weeks where the fixtures aren't as great, I can just bench him. So for now, this is the plan for Game Week 18 as well. So assuming I do Guéhi to Maguire, come Game Week 19, if I do want to sell Darwin Núñez and bring Erling Haaland back in, I will have enough money. So basically, it shows right now that I'm 0.1 million short, but as I've mentioned, I've moved for Solanke already, so I already caught the price rise. So this is just nice. I have just enough money for this move. All right, so let me know what you guys think, and also what you guys are doing with your team. For Game Week 17, going all the way back now, I think I'm likely to just take this -4. I will wait for more news from Pep, but I'm very likely to take this -4. Let me know what you guys are thinking and what are your plans for Erling Haaland. Are you likely to sell? Are you likely to keep, and why? But if not, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here. Do remember the Christmas charity drive is still ongoing, so if you aren't subscribed already, all you have to do is subscribe and I will be donating more money to charity. But for now, thank you for watching to this point, and I'll catch you guys in more Game Week 17 content coming very soon. Bye bye.